honestly, what a way to be kicking off this series between Oxygen and YFP. And I have to apologize to the YFP fans out there because I feel like I was pretty dismissive to kick things off. But boy, did they put up a fight here, honestly, taking us to the second round of overtime before Oxygen were finally able to close it out on their map pick, Vans. I mean, they were fighting. It was a fun series.
Definitely was a fun series. I think we got some good stuff coming out from the duelists. We got some good stuff coming out from Penny. I mean, if you're looking at this replay, there was a little bit of mistakes happening here and there where I felt like this maybe could have been YP's first map to win just because we were harping around how OXG was a little bit slow, if not very slow, on trying to hit sites. And when you couldn't really figure out how to play against Penny and Physic towards that A site, it was going to be like a bad start for you to kick things off here on your map pick. Until OXG started playing defense, and then judges happened, and then now it's more defensive sided when you're playing with these judges, and it just went back and forth at that point.
Yeah, Oxygen did an overall great job. I like that Mitch, even though he's kind of the only initiator, the main guy that you can use utility to enter sites with, he chose those moments carefully. Trailblazer mid, and then would always conserve one flash for that entry. And then Scuba has been pretty unstoppable at the back of B, but YFP went the distance against them. So much distance that I thought 2 games went by. So it was just great to see just YFP go that far, but you know, the stress and the pressure really gets to them, and when it comes to overtime situations, they have issues converting those into big wins. But with how many first kills Oxygen got, maybe YFP should count their lucky stars.
Honestly, on that one, the way YFP were able to fight back and even just their anchors on sites at some point, I think it was phenomenal. The defensive capabilities that they had, considering there was a no Zenzi on their end there, Vans, also good. So when I look at the series, I mean, yes, they lost in that second round of overtime, but I don't look at this as like, oh, they cracked under the pressure. I look at it this like, hey, this was a really competitive set, and there's a lot to be proud of here. Things you can fix, of course, but a lot to be proud of.
We definitely preface this series as to say not necessarily how OXG could really win quite comfortably, but how YFP could really try to counter OXG's type of style to really try to salvage a couple of rounds in their records going into the split, right? So again, realizing how OXG kind of plays, they play split a lot. They played a lot during the offseason at the same time as well, and you're just trying to understand and getting a lot of tape of how you could counter a lot of that stuff. And it was just trying to leverage Penny on this arena to do a lot, right? He's, oh, yeah, there you go. Hey. But he was definitely on top there.
Get a glance, Vance.
Yeah, and even though it looks like he's only 19 and 21, but in those overtimes, he had so much value and put so many good impact frags to really try to keep the dream alive there for YFP. So in the end, it was it came down to just OXG finally figuring out their defensive side, their attacking side at the same time too on the OT. And yeah, they just really were able to play against the YFP defense.
It was cool to see kind of the clutch moments that YFP had under certain types of pressure, like whether it's Physic, who got 2 or 3K on his own, solo holding the site on A, or Penny, who had a 3K on A as well, clutching that up. So I think YFP still did a really good job, just based on kind of the estimations that we had coming into this, and Jonah, who's always been that good anchor that we've really highlighted at the start of the series. So I'm excited to see what this next map is going to bring.
Yeah, and I have to, of course, give shout out to Redux there for I mean, I'm not surprised to see a fantastic Redux performance coming out here, but still want to be putting odes to that. But yes, Lemon, you said next map in the series. This one, when we look at it, is going to be Sunset. And we're actually going over to YFP's map choice. Split was Oxygen's, and that's how close it was brought, Vance. So I'm intrigued, too, heading into this next map, how this is going to go. But this is also a pretty strong map for Oxygen.
Definitely a pretty strong map for Oxygen, but also quite interesting when you're looking at how YFP kind of plays it as well. You know, they're playing, if I'm not mistaken, single controller at this point with just an Omen, leveraging a little bit of Cypher at that point and playing double Initiator too. So you don't have, I mean, you still have lurking capabilities if you want to with the Cypher, but you're not doing a type of like conditioning wall with the Viper to try to contain towards A side. You're actually trying to stick a little bit more as a group and leverage the breach that they currently have in their composition too, to like death ball the same way that they were doing on Split, and hopefully that could be a good way to topple OXG on this map.
Oxygen are perfectly happy with this. They actually picked Sunset against TWT last week, 13-2, decimated them off of double initiator with the KO. So that's the main difference there of the KO versus the Sova when it comes to Sunset. But Sunset, when it comes to YFP, that was the overtime that I brought up that went 16-14, and they ended up losing that to Core. So yeah, they also lost this to TWT. So I'm really favoring Oxygen in this just based on how last week went.
I need no. It's my turn. It's my turn.
No,
Hold
your
on.
turn. Your turn.
I'm gonna put my
We're
period
fighting
in there.
over here,
So
Vance.
there you
Go ahead. You can have it.
Don't fight me. Don't fight me. I can get sassy. But no, I do just to tie on exactly what Lemon Key was saying before too. From whenever OXG was playing against together, were terrific, and they actually got a very one-sided result here for OXG. I think it's also on leveraging what Redux was doing against Kempeki, for example, when they were trying to create space, right? So he was able to find good value on not only going into the sites, but going head-to-head, close range, probably the satchel style to get very close against the anchors of the site and really dominate here on the attack side. So that's something that you have to be ready for, and I think you could with the composition, again, that you're pulling out here from YFP, because you have a breach. So if there's a breach that's going to be understanding to split the attack that OXG is currently bringing, maybe you only have a Redux into sight, but everybody else is going to be so far behind from a fault line aftershock flash that you could actually capitalize on an instant trade to take down Redux and just anchor up after. So we'll have to see how this pans out as we move on from round to round.
It'll be exciting too with this match, because I know when you look at it like, okay, this is strong for YFP, okay, this is strong for Oxygen. If Oxygen is the better team, this should be Oxygen favored. But I have to applaud YFP. They're not scared off by the fact this is strong for Oxygen, and this has been strong for them in the past. And when we're looking at, you know, last week's performance and stuff, I also think how YFP played today already on Split has already just proven to be so much better, to where I'd be intrigued now, like Lemon here, when we go into this map, if it's like, okay, YFP, like they're feeling themselves, they're looking good so far, if maybe this could be a lot closer than you kind of put it down on paper. But we'll have to wait and see with the agent select here in the match on the horizon. I will see you two later. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a long map for sure. Just based on how YFP have been able to push Oxygen to their limits, and a Neon Penny is certainly a different look.
Yeah, a Neon Penny is a different look. Verno going on as a breach. So you have a little bit of changes going through. Both of them giving up the Sova at this point as their initiator. But the Neon, I love. It gives me a little bit of like Mini Boo style when you're looking at Heretics on the other end. I love that you can actually use Penny. The reason I'm gonna die on this hill is that I love a Neon to be a nice little counter or an upgrade to what a breach does and a breach brings into your execution. Because not only can you really bolt and stun, you could combine it with Bones' satchel, with Bones' needs rather, but it also allows you to just phase check on top of the relay bolts, whereas a fault line, you still have to stay behind and run util. So now you have an opportunity to run stuns and double face and really close the gap on how you're trying to scale up and take map control. So again, I love the Neon over the breach in terms of creating space, and I'm hoping to see that coming out of YFP here with the composition that they bring today.
And that relay bolt is so good close range. So if they wanted to push elbow through A, that works out. Through B, taking control of the corners around B. So it's cool that Penny is showing us all these different duelists that we don't get to see as often, like the Reyna now, like the Neon. But Oxygen now on pistols are going to get spotted here by the KO knife of Physic.
Spike retrieved.
It's going to get a lot too. So with that Oxygen, they're just going to pick up Spike and decide to move in and still try to deathball towards the A side as well. Here comes the drop going in from the A lane. He's trying to create space, and there you go.
Spike down A.
Everyone from Oxygen have different plans, and watching the Spike carrier, apparently not one of them. But Oxygen will still try to establish themselves on the site, but this box very nicely held by YFP. Now Penny ready to finish what they started. Scuba holds their own. Oxygen, at least we're able to recover the Spike. The boom bot reveals no one is close, and Oxygen have left the area.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised of how they entered the site there for YFP. The relay boats went towards slant or towards dice, however you want to call it here, Chad. Maybe even Jenny if you want. But at the same time, it's just that it was mistimed. We really didn't really get into the site yet for OXG, so they had to catch some players off guard fighting towards elbow. That's why I have so many X's there towards that end. They just tried to create that space for OXG after towards spawn. But at least you have a 3-3 stalemate. Bunch of ghosts on both ends. Should be an easy plant right now, but there's still a camera that's going to get a lot of info until
10
then.
seconds left.
You got out of the camera, it gets broken, and now you have to play into the unknown for the retake now for YFP.
Planted.
Really bringing this down to the wire. And Oxygen will retreat into B main, and Bones has a trip in their way, and
No way.
almost the pick that they got. Now getting tossed up by the breach. It's an easy pickup for someone like Dapper. Kind of got hit by paint shell there. But nonetheless, Oxygen just have to prevent the defuse, and Steve should have maybe just stayed on their side of the smoke. But as time runs out, Oxygen come out, and it's 4 for Scuba in that round.
Oh, that was so unlucky for Bones to not get that pick in the backstab there from Scuba that was getting ready to smoke towards the area. And you're trying to get wall bangs with a ghost at least. I mean, the HP was quite low for a chance to YFP to close in the gap here from the front of the B side, but I love the aggression, the answer that came back from OSG. Fault line, make sure you get rid of the flanker because you have a perfect plant to just spray through smokes with the pulse plant because you really stuck it inside the pillar of the staircase. So the game plan was good there for OXG. Good adaptation into the mid round. Now to play a heavy buy, actually. They're playing pretty much I like to call this the GB strats, the Greenberry strat back in Counter-Strike 1.6. That's something actually that Garrett, that currently works at Knights, actually coined here with the team. 2 rifles and a couple of pistols to try to create space, and they'll get a free site for them to open the A site here.
When you said GB, I'm like, oh, the Golden Boy buy.
Yeah, pretty much. Could also be the Golden Boy buy.
Well, Oxygen send the boom by, and it does pick people close. Paint shells follow. Satchel to maybe stop this. Neon. Oh man, Penny got crossed up, and so did her follow-up. So Oxygen now just have to clean up the last of these kills. Physic goes down, and Oxygen take anti-eco.
And the ones that actually had the rifles are still at full health here, 125 on each. So the only thing they have to do now is buy utility. I don't think you'll buy armor around that as well because you could be very frugal, especially now that you have a bonus round for OXG. It's okay for you to really try to... Actually, we'll still buy full armor here for Verno. So he goes for the 1700, gets util behind it. And they're actually trying to snowball once again towards this B site. Maybe mid-control at the beginning too. May have some satchels coming out from Redux and a fault line to follow up because there's a lot of pings in this market.
That early knife from Physics. Not paying anything this time because all the action is across the way. Speaking of that, Scuba, ready for the backstab, has the paranoia. Where is the help from Oxygen to pinch through this? And there's Redux pushing up, trying to take advantage. And what a cool play from Oxygen, but it doesn't actually get executed well enough. They'll still salvage the round.
Spike
Taking
down
control
B.
of the site.
1 enemy remaining.
YFP, it's all up to Penny and Thief, of course, but Penny with the 3K is who I want to watch. And they got the spike down too, but
1 enemy
from
remaining.
behind, waits for the perfect moment, gets Thief,
I heard the
1v1.
drop.
Oh, and yeah, I heard the drop from Penny. And Penny's low too.
Penny's also repositioned towards market, so he has an opportunity now. And actually, I don't know if Dapper heard it. He's looking back towards the market, but despite that drop that we heard, sometimes the comms could be convoluted there where he has to check his cams. He's still checking out the right spots here towards the re-clear on the B site. And now with the camera looking back towards main, he knows now that Penny's or flanking back
30
or
seconds
holding
left.
market.
Okay, just tapping. Just trying to draw out, get any kind of noise from Penny. It's rifle v rifle too. In the bonus round here, Oxygen. Time not on their side. Now the plant going down. Penny versus Dapper in the ring around the Rosie, but Penny chooses the right side, and it's a 4K for Penny getting the defuse.
And that's a 30 HP clutch on a 1v1 too that he's able to win that one as well. Yeah, 4K, a big one to enter the site. I mean, it's still a great bonus round that we saw from OXG. The TP that may be confusing for some is to be like, why the hell are you going to TP back there? But he threw a beautiful paranoia, which then forced YFP to just stay at the corner of the staircase that they could flood in this area. Yet you're still fighting against Penny towards site. So he's still anchoring up in that area and getting all of these kills. So that was nicely done in that sense. And there you go. All these duels are being won for him. And it doesn't give a chance here for Dapper to really get a real lurk towards the site when they started playing so passively there for YFP after the whole flood towards market. Change of pace though.
Go, go, go.
Oh, jeez. This Neon Penny's in trouble. That's a sturdy pillar, though, in the middle. Just throwing all the util they can to make the great escape and all through the smoke. Penny gets cut down. What a great punish out of Oxygen and a change up of pace, like you said. Now hoping just use his camera to see is someone watching that back mid archway. Now with the neural theft onto Penny's body, they're gonna have the whole plan revealed to them. The YFP are trying to react fast enough. Oxygen seeing that the site here, A, is weak, and are gonna plant.
Easy plant as well for Elbow. Showstopper off the plant too for Redux. This actually puts all the chances over at OXG to really get this round. They don't get instant kills right now for YFP. I think they're going to have to save at this point. This is an expensive round right now for them on defense.
They're ready. Using the boom bot, satcheling in. Bo doesn't even make it to the box, and it was just a short hop. Oh, Mitch at least collects. It's up to Jonah on a 1 versus 2 and still has to defuse. Knows where Redux is. Or be careful. And oh, the showstopper! But it's traded. And that's a win for Oxygen.
Yeah, guaranteeing the round, right? You get the plant, you get the showstopper. At least silver lining for YFP is that you force out the showstopper. But again, that was a very expensive round on that previous round. You can already see the economy being very low at this point. We talked about the change of pace that YFP did on that previous round, but I failed to see that there was actually a relay bolt that came out from Penny, because after the initial push, I still think they had both of his icons of the stuns under that lightning bolt that you could see under the overlay. So if there was that relay bolt, I feel that pop flash right here that's being thrown for them to push down would have been huge. Wow. And unfortunately, it becomes a flash on the other end. Bone still gets a pick though.
Penny's gonna do this again, but this time they got an ult. You better watch out. They came knocking at the door, and Oxygen were nowhere to be found, so Penny readjusts to take control of mid. Oxygen playing down a member, but there's the response, and there is the plan for Oxygen. Head towards B. The camera from Jonah watching over exactly when this entry happens. It's gonna ping 1. YFP are still going to play quiet and just activate the cages and slow Oxygen down.
And that's the thing, though. They had a nice map control. They know the hit was coming towards extremities, yet Bones wanted to try to find more kills with the Sheriff down towards bottom mid when they have a lower buy instead of moving with the team in stack. At least Penny's there.
B.
At least Penny's there, yeah. YFP with a decent crossfire. Dwindles Oxygen down to 3.
Cover going
Still
out.
comfortable enough to go for the plant. Top of sight there is YFP. Were smoked off there by Scuba. Not much for this defense to work with utility-wise. He's teleporting onto site there. Eve gets past that main corner. Oxygen both stacked on the box, which is a tough one. Now they're getting smoked off. The spike has been tapped. Everyone is panicking, but no one can see each other. And YFP a bit luckier. But Jonah is sticking through the defuse, and Oxygen can't prevent it.
That is so sick. The knife being thrown towards the billboard. No util can be thrown. Throwing a one-way smoke on top of that, on top of the billboard, so that nobody could really swing out. That was so nice there by YFP on that retake. And again, it really came down to Penny on that long-range stinger to get that pick and give a chance here for YFP. Any type of winning chance for YFP for the retake into the B site. And as we talk about when you're trying to play that post plant to spray when the spike's planted into the staircase, well, it gets a lot harder when there's a one-way smoke that's being thrown, so you don't have the right line to really look down from the pillar to really spray on that right spot. So a nice little thrifty that was won by YFP, which look at the economy from OXG now. They're in shambles. They're going back for a GB buy.
I can't use that.
Oxygen. That was a tough one. Spike has been left behind. Oxygen will recover this just barely, and Verno's at least having a good round.
Everyone hide.
Now, Dapper, the neural theft. What a great pick. Sets up Oxygen for a B-site take again. On the other side is Bones, waiting Penny to be in position at the top. Then Oxygen are taking damage from people shooting through smokes. And Penny is an interesting wall,
Spike
but
down,
still
B.
wins the
Works.
engagement. It's 2v2, yeah. Oxygen injured and without a spike.
So is Penny, though. At this level, this could be still pretty good here for Verno and for Scuba, especially when you have all that util for Verno.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, contact. Oh my god. Okay, that was almost punishment there. Verno could get that initial kill against Thief and all that util against Penny. Doable at that point, but Thief is able to flick back to get the last kill. Very nicely done now for YFP to tie up the game, 3-3 scoreline. But again, we've mentioned it was a 2-rifle buy around an eco from OXG. So it still keeps the economy quite low right now for YFP in round number 7. Look at Bones, he's got no money. Unless a weapon was dropped at the beginning of the round, something like that. Yeah, he's going to have to go for a judge and close the gap with that weapon.
Oxygen. Okay. Just camera into mid. Trying to see if Oxygen
Cage triggered.
can walk up there. Sometimes Penny has shown themselves at mid, and that's been a first kill opportunity for Oxygen. But not this time. Bit of an adjustment from Penny. Oxygen quietly through elbow. It has almost weird timing. Mitch tried to check the corner. Penny peeks, gets the first kill. YFP has spotted the push. Now they're ready to smoke off every entryway for Oxygen. And at least Scuba will redirect and teleport and try to set up a paranoia.
down,
But Penny
A.
reads it like a book, getting 3 in this round. And Oxygen try to make up for it, trying to go for trades, but Penny did escape.
I don't know how he keeps escaping and staying alive at low HP, because that low HP is going to be everything right there for YFP to be the silver lining and the way to seal the round right now, as they have this spike that they're currently watching. And also with that boom bot spotted, at least one player is trying to fall back towards Orb over on OXG side. And this
30
I mean,
seconds
we're
left.
still trying to work towards this site, which I'm not really fond of this call. The econ is so low right now for OXG. There's
What?
17 seconds left, and I don't think you go for this.
Feeling confident, I guess, if you're Oxygen.
10 seconds
There's
left.
some breach util to shake up YFP. They steal the spike, just hope to get the plant off, and I'm surprised that they go for it. And time ran out. Options limited. YFP will get the defuse.
Yeah. I guess you're also counting on your star players to really pop off here on a 2 versus 4. You've actually caught YFP on the mistake of letting you pick up the spike as well. So that was maybe an opportunity right there to turn things around. And getting that plant, actually adding that 300 credit across the board, will allow for you to buy small shields and potential rifles around. I mean, look at it. I mean, Verno has already spent 600 credits for a small shield, and that's not enough to buy a rifle here, especially that they need these weapons to play against YFP, who has not only economy, they have weapons, they have even ults to work with. This is a tough call if they actually want to buy around this or not. There is a way. They have Rolling Thunder. They're 1 away from a showstopper. They could still have maybe a judge buy for Redux, while Redux buys a rifle for Verno, so they could create space off the Rolling Thunder. So there's still ways to cook things up here off this timeout, which is, again, Bunkar, usually really good off these timeouts for OXG to maybe even, I mean, I saw in the chat, oh, Bunkar timeout? This should have been 8 for a half now. But we'll see if that's really going to be the case, though, because YFP looks really good on their defensive half right now with this neon that they pulled out on Penny.
And Mitch null command with how many, just how much YFP have at their disposal. How this null command could just kill all of that. It'd be huge for Oxygen. And what site really fits them the best? Yeah, from the shadows from Scuba. It was a cool attempt from Oxygen when they TP'd on the back of the B site and had a paranoia maneuver, but got a bit messy. But now mid control from Oxygen, from the shadows, from Thief actually. And he's all the way in the attacker's spawn. Oxygen, don't know where the heck that is. Their hand is being forced. And Oxygen run into the site, takes some damage, or at least Redux does. Hoping to set up his planter for success. First kill for Oxygen. And already some pressure at the top of the site. YFP in trouble. And Redux with 2. Just gives the upper hand for Oxygen, leaving Thief behind.
What a strat by OXG. What the hell? A rolling thunder to push out towards the spawn and screw pot into Spike when they realized how quick they were trying to go here for YFP. I mean, the idea that you have TPing up towards the spawn was a way to really try to maybe TP across the trip or some of that. I mean, it would have been hurt no matter what on the pulse plat, but they're really trying to delay as much as they could here towards the spawn and really force to rotate back on mid where they could maybe shut down and rotate back from OXG from B to A. But for them to move in towards that site, punish Penny when he slid through with no util to help him out. There was no pop flash. It was an easy kill there for Mitch. And then it just flooded towards the spawn, and I don't think YFP was ready for that at all. Even the Spike made it back there as Verna with the breach ult. That was insane util there coming out from OXG.
No, she still has so many options. Just have to be careful. Where do you decide to go? Because Bones is creeping up mid. Has some assistance there from Penny.
Spike
Who
down
helps
mid.
Bones out in that situation. So first kill for YFP. Oxygen have to check their camera. They gotta check their backs. And Oxygen breaking down the B door. Maybe do an A fake.
Yeah, I mean, A fake could be the call right now. You have Mitch moving there alone. He might even null command towards that area. But the thing is as he null commands towards the A site, the setup is still towards B. They might have to use paint shells to try to break that and then showstopper for the rest. He's starting things off by tapping the orb to see if there's going to be any pressure
30
coming
seconds
through.
left.
Knife doesn't see anybody towards the link. There's only 26 seconds left, though. They have to head towards this B site. Oh, my God. They just went under. Don't tell me they're... Oh, my God.
Wait, oh, Scuba gets discovered by the trip.
down, B.
YFP execute at the perfect moment. The spike is down.
10
Mitch
seconds left.
nowhere near. Oh, that's rough. Just gotta hold the gun. And playing quite close to this, hearing Bones stomp away, but Mitch will live.
That
With an L.
is insane. That they've walked and crouched under the trip, but at the same time, it's like walking into like you're trying to steal something out of the museum, and then one slight mistake off the third guy, the guy that's gonna get caught red-handed in the comedy movie, gets hit by the trip inside the site, which doesn't allow for you to get the backstab. You had the perfect timing to catch your opponents off guard behind the B pillar. And when your teammate just hit that trip on the side, they all instantly fell. And that was just unfortunate at that point. So no opportunity to fake or anything, but
Oh my God.
let's hold that thought. Yeah, we're going fast here.
Spike down A.
Yeah, fast as heck. Penny completely surprised Redux. Just the round just started. I just started blinking, and there's already 3
I was
dead.
still talking about the previous round. I had no idea. I didn't even look at any setups yet, and then now it's just it's a 5v2.
This is not over. Just YFP are very pushed up through A. They got Spike in front of them. Now it's feeling pretty over though. Dapper and
Yeah.
Scuba. You might have from the shadows, but you'd have to be some kind of psychopath to go for a 2v4 play. But hey, we've seen it happen before.
Oh no, now it's doable.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're gonna TP
Now
to
it
pick up
is,
Spike, and then you move towards the B site. But I love this. Nobody from YFP is sitting on that Spike. They all grouped up and they're getting ready to push forward. And then they're just moving quickly towards the B site.
Now this is doable. A 2v4 clutch, now 2v3. Does Oxygen have the plan? They got the ping. Dapper
Enemy remaining.
is just that guy. He's got
Player
more the
standing.
ace. Denied at the end. But Physic in a 1v1 can still save the round for YFP. He's gonna tap the defuse. He's gonna stick it. Scuba has to check it. Not gonna stick it anymore. And the paranoia is just too good. Oxygen will tie.
That was so nice there by Dapper. Lurking up towards the mid, winning that fight where Jonah had to do nothing but win that 1v1. Dapper had his back exposed to you at the beginning. Yet he still turned around and won that duel against Jonah. And we highlighted both Sentinels at the beginning of this series where they both had great Sentinel plays in that previous week. They both popped off. This was a round where also, or a map also, where Jonah, when he played against Core, despite them losing that map, put up impressive numbers on the defense. And one of them had to be better than the other. And that victory that Dapper just got allowed here for Oxygen to win a 2v4 disadvantage. And yeah, that's you're going to definitely call a timeout out of that one just to try to recuperate that round. And even if you're looking at the scoreboard right now too, there's a lot of good things that is happening out of these trap plays that they're trying to do out of Penny. Right, when they throw these knives to slide down, paint shells on top, they're actually able to capitalize on a lot of map control and spike on top of that. But you're playing after that not to lose, and then you lose.
So close, though. Now that the YFP timeout is done, how will the showstopper, how will the neural theft best be used? Oxygen. Just have to be a little careful when YFP like to be a bit aggressive out of A. Especially off of that neon from Penny. It's kind of a crazy round for them. Still went Oxygen's way, but now just being smoked off from mid, where Oxygen like to explore. Dapper's like, why? Who is here? No one. Didn't spot anyone with the camera. Just kind of a normal default for Oxygen.
And they're playing a little bit more patient here too. Oxygen, they're realizing that YFP is very, very quick in these rounds, so they're playing very cautiously this time around, staying far away from the relay bolts and a dash down coming out from Penny. Also staying away from the pinch out from the A side. But YFP, they definitely changed the gear. They're just trying to play content. They're trying to play info. There's not too much on top mid, which is why you have to play a little bit more passively. Okay. Not too sure what was the call for that one, but we'll take it.
The voices were calling him. But Oxygen, not the smokes have dissipated in mid. They got more real estate to work with. This Dapper can also listen in. Who's close to B? Jonah's gonna check the camera at B
30
main.
seconds left.
Oxygen. Okay, now the paint shell has been revealed. Showstopper unleashed for Redux, jumping on in, but his backup got killed, and there's someone at the cross that will stop the showstopper. Nonetheless,
Give me a call.
Oxygen trade 1-for-1. Neural theft for Oxygen. Spike still needs to be planted, and YFP prevented it. This 1v1 will be down to kills, and Deep is escaping. Dapper is behind. He's to go for the kill, and it's too little too late.
Still gets the kill in the end, but yeah, that was a nice round and a nice save by YFP, because he had another big impact frag coming out of Dapper, and with the hat to get all that information for where the players are coming through, they realized that it was pressing here for YFP to just swarm across, get these picks, and it came down to winning through time. And now that was actually credit to YFP reacting very quickly and on their toes to capitalize on that round. So winning 2 rounds at a time, that's super good here on the defensive side. And now they're going back to changing the pace, back to a flash and trying to run down towards mid. And it was a fake run, actually. So they're faking out that they're actually plowing towards mid for YFP and trying to hopefully force Oxygen into a stack, where they're holding off angles on different corners rather on this A site.
Still neuro theft from Jonah. Just trying to play his life, play off a contact with the camera. And Thief just gets found. Mid is just open like that. No trips, no cages, no fun. Well, maybe a little bit of fun. There's some judge action and elbow, and Bones gets paranoid. And Oxygen have a one-man advantage now, heading to A, and
Spike down
Jonah
A.
gets removed from the site. The spike keeps getting prevented from being planted. Here we go, Oxygen. Reinforcements on the way with Physic and Penny around the corner.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, already an early pick as Oxygen just extend out. They're not going to let YFP plan the retake. It's all up to Penny. And it's just a highway to hell.
And that's where it gets difficult there, when you're only just Penny as a Neon and you're playing a duelist that can't really do damage with your util. You can only stun and then use your body to get these kills. You need a little bit more util behind. So if Penny is going to be stuck in a clutch, yes, he could definitely win 1v1s, but when you're playing meticulously on the pulse plant here for OXG, it's going to be very hard for you to retake the site. So that's a very nice end here to the half. Another one of these games. I mean, out of these 4 halves that we casted so far, 3 of them went 6-6, 1 at 7-5. You can definitely see that tonight it wasn't going to be necessarily a blowout for any of the favorite teams. I love that we're showing grit and we're showing fight here out of teams like YFP.
That first game went into overtime too. Last time YFP were on Sunset, it went into overtime. But what can YFP close out? Can they handle the pressure? Now this could be an early peak out of Oxygen at B main. The YFP gotta be careful of this breach utility too. But Scuba wins the engagement, then the paint shells to flush out that last player from the box. Both teams go 1-1, but YFP are just way more injured in this case. Oxygen dispatch this offense from B.
I'm out of here.
It's not been the cleanest way though. 1v2, using the speed, overwhelms Mitch with the frenzy. We're gonna bring the party to A.
Go, go, go.
Oh, he's gonna win the race too because he can just dash across and just tie up and lace up the Nikes and get into an A open site. But Dapper, I mean, at this point, he's got a camera. He's got a trip on A site. He could anchor up towards B. He could run a camera late when he realizes with this timing that there's nobody that really tapped the spike yet towards A, or it hasn't been planted as of yet. But actually, Penny is now able to slip across enemy lines.
30 seconds left.
He's going to decide to backpedal back towards the A site, and that's where, again, Dapper could use the camera to retake and rescale solely on the 1v1.
Go, go, go.
Okay, well, Penny has done enough scouting. Now the clock is about to hit 1, and that's where the plan
Spike
goes down,
planted.
of course. YFP, aka Penny, at 65 HP. Frenzy versus Ghost. Dapper has to run all the way, and actually has a camera to spot maybe where Penny is. So now is to be much more quiet. Penny around the corner. This is for Pistol. This is for the lead in the second half. Series point for Oxygen. Now Dapper running out of time. Just trying to spray and pray, check everything he can, but Penny is just better. Zippo clutch for YFP.
What a nice play by Penny. And I thought it was going to be pretty much the round coming in for OXG, especially when I saw the pop flash coming out for the retake attempt from Physics, or on B main when they lost control of the area. Look at that. It went towards the billboard. Technically, it didn't flash anybody, yet the trades were so good for OXG, and it came down to Penny. Isolating 3 different 1v1s. That's what I'm talking about. If you're playing 3 meticulously against Penny, you should be able to win that round. But if Penny's able to isolate 1v1s at that point, and you have a frenzy on Pistol, how do you win that? Very nicely done. YFP back in the lead here in this series, as Oxygen are going to walk down contact for A.
Someone step, and wow, Penny just gets bulldozed. And this is just an all-out war.
Spike down.
Deathmatch
Attacker
style.
spawn.
Who cares about the spike? 1v2, Redux, solo, and YFP take the anti-eco.
Oh. Now, there was a lot of util being used at the same time, though, when they were trying to move out on that contact play, which is classics. I saw an aftershock. I saw a couple of flashes, which then means, rather, that their economy should be a little bit lower, which is why we're seeing half shields for some of the players that really need this util, and that's Mitch, Verno, and Scuba specifically. Although doing that type of damage here against YFP is going to it's going to be very difficult for YFP to get a good buy out of their bonus round. So this is a great way to start spiraling things back in your favor here for OXG, and I love the change though. They could play as aggressively as they want here for OXG without needing a neon in their composition because they have this breach to create the space with.
Now some free mid control. Jonas says, "Come at me, bro." Usually, at least it was Oxygen that got tripped up when they were trying to cross through the back of mid, and YFP weren't watching it. But now the tables have turned. I gotta remember that. YFP are now on the offense, and
Take this.
just not really baiting Oxygen out from their cover, but Penny's trying to be aggressive, gets forced back from the paint shells left behind by Redux.
Go, go, go.
Now readjustment. Penny still just can't be punished, just can't be killed, it feels like. We'll quickly bring this offense towards B. Just nicely stacked by Oxygen, but YFP have some nice angles. Can they converge? As Mitch is ready with the flash 2, and as soon as Physic is revealed, Scuba executes. Penny's ready for the trade, and YFP have to fight back against Oxygen. And it's not been the best of offenses for YFP. Not when Dapper gets to just walk up and kill for free. Now Jonah has a 1v3, a tall task. The spike there, you know that Dapper is around that corner with so many angles to catch. And now that the cage is down, there's even more to worry about. And Oxygen, keep this close.
Got to make sure here on the attack for YFP if you want to try to flood here towards this B side, just to make sure that you check that left staircase in that B site, just to make sure that you're able to clear out any type of rats that could be in that angle. And as it doesn't get cleared, as you've just mentioned here, that's 2 easy kills for Dapper coming out from this actual spot right here. It worked out at least for them to really run that deathfall as a group for YFP, because they have that bonus round that they were trying to work in their favor. But unfortunately, not clearing those corners was your demise here pretty much. And now this round, trying to play some sort of a camera angle for a fault line and nade. But as it spots nothing at the beginning of this round, look at this instant rotate from Oxygen. They're adding so many players on the right pivot on the top of mid, focusing on a B/mark and hold, and now a retake on A site.
The economy will be in shambles for YFP if they don't get this done, and Bones will deliver when they need the clutch. 2 first bloods there from YFP. They're coming through an unconventional way through B, but still one that Oxygen didn't expect. And it forces Oxygen, the defense, to play from the offensive B main, and Dapper just gets a lineup like that, makes it look easy. Neural Theft, 2v2, knows he's got 2 YFP right ahead of him, but they're watching their angles, so it won't be simple for Scuba and Dapper.
Cage trigger.
They have the sight, they can cage them off, tap the spike, but it's actually right in front of the doorway. He might spot a crack in this cage, and Neon, oh, that Neon of Penny was just trying to spray through it. And Knights, or not Knights, Dapper gets the 3rd and the 4th, and Oxygen tied up.
Well, I mean, you could actually call Dapper a knight there. He's a knight in shining armor with a 4K, a hat, info once again. And so clutch in these moments, so clutch in these kills. This is another situation that was a 2 versus 4. That was one here thanks to Dapper. Again, somehow the pathing was beautiful, though, for YFP, right? Putting the wall up, breaking that util, and also catching all of these Oxygen players on a rotate off guard. I mentioned they had a perfect rotate for a perfect read at the beginning, but they weren't expecting how fast it was going to be with Penny at the helm. But again, it's Dapper that's saving a round here for the team.
Now YFP, okay, getting stunned up a bit. I've had to be very careful in how they approach this A site. Just the elbow, sometimes you randomly have someone peek through that, or you get hit by a bunch of utility. YFP try to go unscathed, and there's Redux getting punished on the re-peek.
Spike
Verno
down
picks
A.
up the 2. And Oxygen have gotten the spike down, as you heard, and YFP are such in a tough predicament, especially with Jonah, with the Sheriff, is just across the venue. And Thief just gonna leave it up to Bones, I guess, to recover this.
And Bones alone with the Stinger. I think they're just trying to create that space and maybe try to rotate across somewhere. And at the same time, look at the TP across that you saw on that minimap. So you should be able to hear this rotate quite soon. I mean, actually, there was a be careful ping that came out here on the attack, so they did anticipate Scuba TPing across and trying to work around the map. So it gives a chance here for YP to just stick together. They go for the TP and run plant towards B.
All right, good, because I was worried if Bones could do it all by themselves, but it's a good setup by YFP using the teleport. Now the plant is easy. Got Got the smoke from Thief at the top. Oxygen
Gone here.
is getting picked off from Bones watching the flank. So Oxygen have limited options on the retake. Still got a knife and some breach util, and Oxygen make their way out through the doorway through Showstopper and whatever firepower, but Dapper, he just keeps clutching.
Oh yeah, definitely kept clutching into Showstopper, not getting any value. Bones actually gets that pick onto Scuba, which allowed for them to get the Showstopper on the post plant. Unfortunately, they wanted to not keep it for when the tap happens on that spike. They wanted to try to get lucky on a rocket kill, especially when the cage came up. But unfortunately, when it came to no contact, then that was the winning condition that had come in their favor. So Oxygen now back in the lead in this series, 9-8 so far. And YFP, I mean, they're able to keep somewhat salvage something off that plant in terms of a buy with full shields because of it. And they might just want to try to pop with an ultimate in. Yeah, and there you go. NDA site, how do you hold this now for OXG?
Well, YFP, they've made their decision. This is where they want to take the round, and Oxygen quickly rotating, but YFP don't want to let them get set up. As best as they can, they threw the boombot to see how close reinforcements were, and Scuba, it's a nice he's about to hit a nice paranoia. But is his team ready? Well, he already gets flushed out by the paint shells. Redux, Showstopper gets Penny, and the spike keeps getting tapped, forcing Panic out of Oxygen, and maybe YP could take advantage.
Rolling Thunder, yep.
Will change out his gun. Rolling Thunder, and Verno helps stabilize the team. A 1v2 for Bones. Just has to deny the defuse. Verno is halfway there. He gives up on sticking it. And now Bones can play his life. He can play time, and Verno has time to get the win for Oxygen.
That was so nice there by Bones to start things off, to win that 1v1, play the time, keeping Verno off that spike. But unfortunately, when it came down to a little bit more pressure, you definitely do see the experience come in towards the end for Verno. There was a little bit of too much of an extra peek coming out from Bones, and with 2 seconds left to defuse, you definitely needed that extra 1 or 2 jiggle peek. But under that pressure, man, I mean, you done whatever you could here as a young fragger for YFP. It was a nice little attempt, a nice little try. And when you got to play against the breach ult there at this point, it's so hard to be smart on your decisions.
Well, smart can be, shoot through the smoke. That would be 9,000. Well, at a body preferably, but Redux gets pushed back by the smoke. As Oxygen this time are the ones to take some mid control. I think the only person we really saw be aggressive on the defense was Penny on the last half. YFP made their way onto B, just had to deal with the trips and some util there from Dapper, and Redux positions there with the Outlaw to get 2. And it just looks simple when you watch Oxygen in these retakes. Jonas in a 1v5, that's going to be anything but simple.
Oh yeah, it's going to be tough. There's a minute less, spikes out in the open, and you can really start seeing things starting to fall apart slowly here for YFP on the attack. And it almost feels like the wind was cut out of their sails when you had so many clutch rounds coming out from Dapper so far. The ults now that can start cycling here on the defensive side. It just makes it really difficult right now for YFP that continuously has to fight uphill with half buys, with low buys, trying to do hero plays, and it's just not panning out. I think the biggest one was maybe even that 2 versus 4 again on this on their attacking side here when they planned it for spawn. That really didn't turn out in their favor. So YFP, man, it's getting close. Series almost done at this point.
5 in a row from Oxygen after a Zenny flawless. They're on track to having a pretty flawless second half. If you're looking at Oxygen's defense and their retake capabilities. This is a fun spot for Redux, but unfortunately no one to shoot at. And as soon as he drops down from his perch, of course, YFP are there. At least they go 1 for 1, and YFP won't be able to traverse through the back of mid. They're going to redirect towards A, and ready to engage is Scuba. Somebody smokes, and Cage is in the way, and it's so close to killing Penny. Penny has some plot armor, some main character and energy. But Oxygen have a 4 versus 2. Surely this can't be choked. And Mitch gets 3, and Oxygen put a match point, series point.
I mean, Scuba and Mitch had 2 HP at the end over there. There was some sort of way through that paranoia that was thrown out from Thief. That flash that came out on the A-Link hit 3 of them, and unfortunately the shots did not connect to get those 2 kills. And what better way to get information once again than Dapper throwing a hat one more time. I don't know how many ults he's had this half, or this map rather, but has been key in terms of getting this information for his team to be able to set up here. I mean, look how free that was for Vernal to get that pick onto Physic 2 when the rest of them were being pinged out and fighting towards the dumpster at the A-Link. So yeah, this is another important timeout. Oh yeah, there's a nice little elephant there from Scuba.
Like
the elephant in the room is that Oxygen is currently owning YFP as they're taking to the defensive side.
I'm glad Scuba's having fun in the pitch blackness that is his dungeon.
Yeah, does he play the monitor brightness at 1% as well? Usually you should have a monitor to hand, no?
Well, Penny's at 200% brightness, so there's like the 2 dichotomies.
Yeah, and Vernal just wants to play hard mode on a rocking boat in a kiddie pool or something.
Flashed.
Yep.
Glad Scuba's back at his desk. Timeout is over. Last chance out of YFP. Try and force a map 3.
This should do.
But Oxygen's defense, their retake, their post, it's just so good. How do you break this?
How do you break this at this point is just trying to figure out that your mid take and flooding the way that you're trying to do is unfortunately now figured out. And Oxygen Gaming are doing pretty good of just stalling anything that you have trying to get into these sites. And now they have a perfect opportunity to do so, though, where they could actually bring up the tempo and play a better pulse plan within sites, because the last time they did this towards the A side, they got owned by Rolling Thunder, by a breach hold at this point. This time they have the null command coming out from Mitch.
Goodbye.
And I said, the mid control is difficult. It's figured out, and you're walking in through there, and now you're just getting picked.
You're getting shot in the back, too, which is the annoying part. Like, YFP are just... You can't give up at this point. It's always comebackable. That's still the word. But Dapper, he's just been that guy. Easily my MVP for Oxygen. Although they've just all around done a great job working together. YFP, it's not impossible. 3v4. Jiggle peek, and you punish Mitch. Null command, though. It's going to make things even more difficult for YFP, but Verno brings him back. Defense, 34 HP. Big showstopper against Redux is a big win for YFP. But now the numbers are still equal, and Bones is playing so close, tries to dodge the flash. A great job by Mitch.
Last player standing.
Still plays at an elbow, and all of Oxygen know exactly where this is.
Oh.
And that is just over. Oxygen will take the series.
I felt that was going to be a winnable round for YFP, especially then when Thief threw the paranoia to blind his opponents on top of the showstopper kill that came out from Bones. But unfortunately, we did not play the player advantage, or at least the plant. We still tried to fight back towards the spawn, and we got punished in the end. When it comes down again to experience, you could actually react on time here and take your time to utilize the window of opportunity to retake the site. And OXG shows why here. They're able to adapt quite well on the fly with these different comps that came out from YFP that surprised them at first, but still ended up being a 2-0 victory in the end for Oxygen.
At least YFP being able to play close, because the round differential certainly does matter when it comes to the standings, tertiary to series wins, map wins, etc. But it's still, I think, a good confidence booster after how the last week went. But now I get to finally say hi to Sierra this time. Hello.
Hello. I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for you to say hi to me, and I can say hi back. And that series, honestly, I thought the neon would be the most crazy part of it coming out from Penny. Love the neon. It was fantastic stuff. I have to say, though, my whole highlight of this series was how much Dapper just kind of stepped up. Like, we've gotten to see better and better performances with him on Oxygen since him joining. But this one, Vans, I think, was just kind of unparalleled.
Even then, at that point, when you see it's nice to see Dapper step up. For me, it's just nice to see Dapper playing the way that he always plays. I think he's almost like, for me, like a Marv right now for energy at the VCTs, if not very similar to that style as how Marv could really get around enemy lines and really try to find great timings to put value into his kills. The reason why I'm saying it's close to what Marv does is because Marv actually just plays controller and he could actually clutch out for the team, while as Dapper not only could do that clutch for the team, but he also plays a sentinel role as a Cypher that gives extra information for the rest of the team when he's able to get value off these neural theft. So that was super, super nicely done here, which is why it's no surprise that I see Dapper at the top of the scoreboard as the MVP with 28 kills rather.
It's cool to see a neon like Penny come out. Showing us all the duelists, like I said, like the Reyna, and now also clutching up with 5 first kills. It's cool to see. I'm glad I called the correct MVP for Oxygen there. But to point out the lackluster offense from YFP is what really killed them. Out of 8 rounds, they only had 1 successful post plant, which says a lot. Maybe badly about YFP, but great about Oxygen's retake. And we spoke time and time about it again, and just Dapper getting away with anything he wants.
I mean, I look at the fact that YFP are not having the offense they want, and I look back to Oxygen's end of this player scoreboard and go, oh yeah, 28 and 11 Cypher. You know, yeah, that one kind of checks out a little bit here, but honestly, still a really, really fun series. We got to see some great ideas coming up from YFP, but ultimately, in the end, Oxygen Esports to take that dub. We're going to be having an interview shortly, but post-series highlights first. We're going to be right back.
Down mid. One enemy remaining. Clutch. Spike down A. 10 seconds. Spike down B. Remaining. One enemy remaining. B. One enemy remaining. B. One enemy remaining.
Y'all's ready. Y'all's ready.
Thrifty.
Cage trigger.
One enemy remaining.
Cage trigger.
One enemy remaining.
Headshot. Headshot. My ultimate is ready.
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate is ready.
One enemy remaining.
Kill.
One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left. One enemy.
Where is everyone?
One enemy remaining.
3 out of 5.
A. One enemy remaining.
Killjoy here. I can use.
Welcome back, everyone. Fantastic 2-0 victory over YFP here for Oxygen. Of course, I had to bring Dapper on it to talk, especially after that sunset performance. I'm just going to kick it off. Did you do something like special today? Extra big breakfast? Like, how are you popping off like that?
No, just same routine, same everything. Just I guess, I don't know, sometimes you just you're feeling it. I didn't know I still had that left in the tank, so it was good.
Hey, at least now you know. I think week 4, really good time to be pulling that out. And I want to talk about your addition to Oxygen now that you've gotten a big part of the split kind of done with, and how you kind of feel like you're meshing with the team. Because it was definitely really exciting to see you join the roster. I think after today, it's definitely very safe to say that you're fitting in really well, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even know how long it's been since I joined Oxygen. It's been almost half a year, if I had to guess, maybe even longer. I love the team. They're honestly fantastic. I love playing with them. And, you know, I feel like we've consistently grown. We've had, like, spurts of bad moments, but I feel like we overcome them as friends and as people that just want to get better together. So, you know, it's been a treat so far.
I'm glad it's going well. And I kind of forget sometimes with the offseason, it actually has been that long. So it's definitely showing out there, out on these maps and stuff. I want to talk a little bit about the series too, because the first one got a double overtime going up against YFP. Were you guys caught off guard by them a little bit? They had this double duelist. They had that Reyna. They're pulling out some judges. Or what kind of happened on this first map?
Yeah, the comp definitely threw us for a loop. We had some antes, and then when the team is kind of just throws it all to the wayside, it's like, okay, we have to play our game, and then, you know, you don't really know. I don't think we scrimmed against either the split comp or the sunset comp before, so it's something we had to completely adapt to on the fly, which we started off a little like slow, but we got there at the end. So I'm just proud that we could, you know, have the tenacity to pull it through.
It's definitely great to see the adjustments because they're pulling out some fun stuff, let me tell you. So when you're looking at the comp, what they're kind of throwing at you, what was kind of like that first highlight for the team of like, oh, we need to shut this down? Like, was it Penny on these duelists, or was there a different thing else that where you had to start?
I don't think it was necessarily to shut anything down. Like Reyna is just gonna fight, and we know that. But it was more abusing the lack of a Cypher or like a Sentinel in general. That's pretty apparent on that map. So they were constantly, at least on our attack, we felt like they were constantly info starved, and they had to take a lot of gambles. Some of them worked out for them, some of them didn't, and it was just more about info denial, it felt like.
Oh, that's great, because it definitely seemed like a little bit of a struggle for them there. And talking about Cypher and the fact we got to see some great Cypher from you, as well as some Viper earlier on in the series, I just want to know, what's your personal preference of agent to play?
I mean, Cypher is my baby. I love Cypher. I feel like the kit is, ever since he got buffed with the trips and stuff, I love playing him more and more, but Viper is just really... I don't know, just needed on every map, and I feel like I really like Viper in the vulnerables, so if I had to pick, I'd play Cypher, but I love Viper too, so it's not a big deal.
I'm definitely glad to hear that. It's not oh no, it's definitely something you enjoy playing as well. But congratulations again on this victory, being 3-1 so far in Challengers, and thank you for chatting with me. Have a great rest of your night, okay, Dapper?
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. As for us, well done talking with one goat, but we're going to bring two on back to chat a little bit more about the series. I'm, of course, talking about Vans and Lemon. What's up, Vans? Hello, Lemon. It was a fun day. How are you feeling?
I'm glad. You know, we did predict the whole 2-0 situation, but how it happened was what was, I don't know, surprising, but like exciting. It really went the distance.
Yeah, I actually love the interview that came out from Dapper at the end as well, because he did mention on Split, for example, they're going to play against a lineup that is going to be info starved, which is why potentially we saw Oxygen just play so many slow defaults and last minute hits on the attack side, where sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work for them as well, right? But that was what's important in the end. They showed tenacity, and I think we also showed tenacity today as we had some great games that went into overtimes and whatnot. So that, I thought that was pretty sick as a day, even though we got 0-2s all across, or 2-0s that were on either side you're watching. Is at least they were really good games and very close on both ends in both series. They
weren't boring 2-0s. They were fun.
Exactly.
They were exciting and high octane. You know, this is the type of day, like, it's always like, oh, one more map, but no, I'm very content with what this was. But of course, This was only day 2 of our week 4. We still have one more day, so looking ahead at the schedule, we're still going to have one more great day of matches. This is all what we've seen so far. If you've missed any of the other days, notice that 2-0 trend. It's not anything new. Tomorrow, it's going to be M80 going up against Winthrop University, Core going up against Thinking Men, and offhand... Fans, when I look at the schedule, I'm looking at that very last game there, Core versus Thinking Men. I think that one is going to be your 3-map set of the week.
Yeah, and if anything, I think this could also be the first victory that we have out of Thinking Man. I think what I did was I predicted for Core so that it would give some sort of blessing for Thinking Man going into that series tomorrow. But again, I think it's going to be a very good one for at least potentially a first victory for Thinking Man. It's definitely I I do side with you that this will potentially go into a 3-map series because you have some great fragging players into both of these rosters.
I think these next 2 weeks are going to define who's going to be relegated in that match. You mentioned of Core versus Thinking Men is the start of something good or horrible, depending on whose team you're really cheering on, because Core are only ahead by 1 series win over Thinking Men. And then, so they have to compete for that relegation spot. Thinking Men are also facing TWT, who are in danger of relegation. So these next 2 matches are so critical, at least for Group A, to find out who has to fight the relegation.
There's a lot on the line. We're getting to that point here in our stage, but hey, it makes it exciting and I cannot wait. Of course, that's it for us today. Thank you all so much for watching. Kiwi, Vance, thank you so much for crushing on the desk. And of course, thank you to production. Make sure to be tuning back in tomorrow. Stop it, man. Make sure to be tuning back in tomorrow so you can deal with some more shenanigans, more Valorant. We'll see you then.
Enemy down.
Get out of my way.
Spike down. A.
Enemy down.
Nailed him. 1 enemy remaining. 30 seconds. 1 enemy remaining. 1 enemy remaining.
Goodbye.
1 enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down. 1 enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining.
For me.
1 enemy remaining. 1 enemy. Last player standing. 1 enemy remaining. Spike down mid.
Wait for me.
1 enemy remaining. Clutch. Spike down A. 10 seconds. 1 enemy remaining. 1 enemy remaining. B. 1 enemy remaining.
Shot's ready.
Cage trigger.
1 enemy remaining.
Cage trigger.
1 enemy remaining.
Headshot. My ultimate is ready.
1 enemy remaining.
Killed.
1 enemy remaining. Clutch.
Hostile removed.
30 seconds left. 1 enemy.
Maya, where is everyone?
1 enemy remaining.
3 out of 5.
A.